What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Not So Pro Fantasy Football Talk. It is my favorite day of the week. It is Tuesday. It is the day to grind on the waiver wires. Hopefully, you guys saw our video that was released earlier today, or our TikTok, or our YouTube short. We are on that grind. I'll tell you what. Hopefully, you saw these guys yesterday, trash talking me and my advice about Kenneth Gainwell and Peter Swift. Yeah, but the real duo over there. But in other words, hopefully you guys are doing great. Hopefully you guys are not struggling in fantasy football. You shouldn't if you're watching this show. And today we are helping you out, giving you some more fantasy football advice. Also, if you have any questions, put it down in the comment section below, and we will answer every single one of those questions right back at you. Rave, what is going on? Appreciate you being here. Hopefully it's Rave and not Zach today. I'm not in the mood. All right. I lost in one of my leagues this past week, and I'm just not having it. I had Joe Burrow, who gave me 9 points. I had two running backs who had a combined score of 6 points. And then I had a defense that gave me -3 points. So please, let's not do that again. Okay. I am waiting for Jonathan Taylor to get back healthy. I am waiting for Aaron Jones to come back healthy. He is killing me right now. I just overpaid for Rashad White. What do you think?
I saw that. Did that trade actually go through?
It hasn't gone through yet. It's still going through the voting process, but y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section. I am trading Michael Thomas for Rashad White, who's only had one decent game, but has the workload on that offense. And I'm Michael Thomas. I mean, he is the clear-cut wide receiver too, who is, picking up at least 7 receptions a game. I think I slightly overpaid, but I'm in desperate need of a running back. So with that being said, Vince, you think I overpaid? You think I'm stealing Rashad White? What are your thoughts here?
I would say it's a pretty even trade. I've looked at your team, and I mean, you are in desperate need of a running back, so I think it's an area of need. So even if it were like maybe a little bit tipping towards the person who gets Michael Thomas, I still think you kind of win this trade, even if you did lose just a little bit, just because it's an area of need. If it's something
Yeah.
that you need, it's beneficial than not doing it, and getting like 5 points combined by two running backs.
That was bad. Little backstory. I had Joshua Kelly and Khalil Herbert starting because Aaron Jones, and of course, we all know Jonathan Taylor's story. And then on the bench, on my flex position, I got Mike Evans. So that's pretty damn good flex right there. And then I have Jacoby Myers on the bench as well as Michael Thomas. So I felt like I was able to sacrifice at least one of those guys. So I'm not
That's
mad at it. Rave with the first question of the day says Tank Dell worth putting in instead of Garrett Wilson or D Hop? What do we think here?
I don't know, man. I want to see who the Texans are playing. I think they're going against
They're
Pittsburgh. So
going
I
against
mean,
Pittsburgh. Tough defense.
it wouldn't be too bad, but I still feel like I haven't checked on D Hop and how he's done, but I think Garrett Wilson has been doing mediocre lately, not to what we expected him by drafting him in like, second round, third round. Some people did that. But if I'm being honest, since I haven't checked on D Hop, I would say D Hop and then Tank Dell. But if D Hop hasn't been getting like, his average 15 points that we're expecting him to get, I would say, you could take the risk with Tank Dell. Tank Dell's been getting a lot of good usage lately, especially on those long passes.
I'm trying to look it up right now because I have not been too familiar with D Hop, but you know what? D Hop just came back from an injury, so you can't fault him too much on that. I mean, he's getting the target share. Week 1, 13, 2 is 5, and 3 is 7. So he has a target share. It's just a really unfortunate offense this upcoming season. And I like Tank Dell a lot. And I've been asked that question, can I start Tank Dell moving forward? It's still up in the air because we're still trying to see who's at wide receiver 1. We've seen Robert Woods be consistent. We see Nico Collins being on the up and up, but all of a sudden Tank Dell's been consistent. I just don't like his size of receiver. And also, last week we saw CJ Stroud throw the least amount of times this season so far, and that was with 30 passing attempts, and that is pretty damn good. So let's see what they could do against Pittsburgh. If you absolutely need to start a wide receiver, you have no options, I'll say go for it. Shoot up Tank Dell, and let's see what happens, man. Titans O line, yeah, It's pretty bad, and we're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into Derrick Henry. Are we ready to press that panic button on Derrick Henry, or should we be looking into Ty Spears, which I still think I'm saying his name wrong, but yeah, it is pretty bad. Yes, he has a targets, but he can't produce because that offense is just ridiculous. And at this rate, we're looking at Ryan Tannehill and even someone like Kirk Cousins, maybe not even starting midway through the season, maybe getting benched, maybe getting traded. We don't know at this point, but it is just an uncomfortable situation if you have any player from the Tennessee Titans. But not a bad question. Tank Dell, as far as having Robert Woods, I know you talked about Robert Woods last week, Vince. Are you still high on him?
So I've checked up on him as I was doing my research for this video, for this live, and I see that when CJ Stroud's passes go down, I feel like Bobby Trees is the first one to like take the cut. So I saw that in these past two games. Definitely oh, Sam, haven't seen you in forever, my
I know.
guy.
I'm
How
so
are
glad
you?
Sam's here. He
I
says,
want to
"Hey
read this
guys."
first. Yeah, go
Oh, go
ahead.
ahead. Go ahead.
He said, "Hey guys, I'm at work, so quick question. It's time to start love over Dak, right?"
Hell yeah, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna put a poll on Twitter saying, should I drop Dak Prescott for Brock Purdy? And I was really wondering what people would say because I'm in that situation right now and I'm really considering it. I mean, the only upside that Dak has is that he's thrown, I think, 40 plus times each game,
Yeah.
which not great throws, but they're throws, right? There's their opportunities. But Vince, go on with Bobby Trees.
I just feel like his production is gonna take a dip, especially with these new young receivers starting to develop. Robert Woods wasn't the guy who was going to fix it all for you this year. He's older in age, but at the point in time when I did say that, he's a guy to possibly start picking up, it's because his production was good. But again, as the Texans' offense develops, they're starting to use Damian Pierce more, starting to use Tank Dell more. It takes away from these older guys. They're in a transition type of year. So new stars are going to develop. So that whole team, you never know who's going to be the next guy up, who's going to be the guy who pops off that one game. So I still think everybody there on the Texans is like, probably did good for 2-3 weeks and then it'll switch off to another guy. So it's always risky, but I definitely think Robert Woods should be a guy to keep your tabs on throughout the season.
Speaking of older guys, one guy that, I'm not surprised about because I talked about it all off season, who is kind of taking form as I don't want to call him the wide receiver one, but the most consistent, the most reliable wide receiver on that team. And I'm talking about Adam Thielen out there for the Carolina Panthers. Yes, I know that we saw Andy Dalton as a quarterback. He is more of a pocket passer, but look at the back weeks. I don't want to take out week one. Week one wasn't his greatest week, but remember, him and DJ Chark were coming off of injuries. Not Nico Collins, Jonathan Mingo just went down with an injury. So that just means more volume for both Adam Thielen and DJ Chark. With DJ Chark looks more like the deep threat, while Adam Thielen is a slant guy. And I think that is perfect on such a young offense. We've seen this guy get so many targets, and I think it's some guy that you have to have on your roster if you're really in need of a low end flex spot. That's someone that you want to match up week to week, or especially if you see Andy Dalton start again, you definitely want to keep your eye on Adam Thielen. I like this guy a lot. I know Reed wasn't with me this offseason, but so far, I'm just not saying it's going to stay this way, but it can change. So far, we are seeing that trend in this team with DJ Chark, Adam Thielen being the older guys, right? Being consistent and demanding that target share. Do you agree with me here?
I do. In the off season, I was kind of on the ropes of like maybe drafting him. When we did some mock drafts, I kind of like fiddled with the possibility of maybe Adam Thielen could be a good guy on the Carolina Panthers because they traded for him for a reason. So they want to utilize him, whether that's in the coaching aspect or whether that's being an actual production type wide receiver there. And I mean, he's just a crutch, honestly. I think he's going to be a good wide receiver for about 1 to 2 more years because he's still got it in him. He's quick, so I think that's what he uses to his benefit, and he's been around the league for a while, so he knows how to get away from these cornerbacks and safeties on those little slant and little in routes.
So I'm over here on Discord because we're actually getting some questions on Discord. I'm going to put it as a banner. So I want us to answer this together, Vince, just because I do feel like it is a good question. After I paste this right there, boom. It says, any thoughts on some wide receivers to target for London and Terry package? And I think that's a pretty good question right there because everyone's looking to trade right now. I'm going through a trade. I put some guys out there on the trading blog, see if I get any hits. And honestly, I am looking to trade those guys because now I'm looking more towards mid to late season. And I feel like that's exactly what you're doing here. Terry's productivity is just going to go down, down, and down. As far as London, we really don't know because Desmond Ritter is just like, it's a huge yikes in my eyes, right? It's just like he's inconsistent. He's I don't think he's just a good quarterback. I'm sorry, that's what it is. But people that he could ideally target for Drake London is Drake London, I believe, and Terry McLaurin. Oh man, this is tough. I feel like you can't get too much for these guys. Maybe London still has a name to him, but I feel like you got to aim for people like maybe a Brandon Ayuk who's injured right now, or maybe a DK Metcalf, one of those slant guys that could go out there and pick up some targets. What do you think, here, Vince?
Yeah, man, I was gonna say some people who like are not very well talked about as of lately. I was gonna say like maybe like Michael Pittman, a Devontae Smith type of guy. I think if you trade with the right person who wants more of a, you know, I guess more options at wide receiver because they don't have too many options. That's who I would probably go after. Of course, you can't go after Mike Williams anymore. That would have been another candidate, but ACL tears, you know how that goes. But other than that, I mean, possibly like Amari Cooper. He's been doing decently well, but not amazing. So it just depends on how high you want to shoot. But I definitely don't think you can get like a Justin Jefferson or, maybe even a Cooper Cup if he is almost coming back. I would maybe say trade one of those guys who's doing the better, probably Drake London, because there's more upside. But there's a lot you can trade for. It just you got to feel out your league and how you guys trade in that league because that's how it always turns out.
Yeah, finding the right suitor, right? And we have a very similar question here. We have PI Podcast. What's going on, PI Podcast? Says, what's Garrett Wilson's value right now? And this is something that's scary. And I feel like it's a very delicate situation because his value is just plummeting week to week to week, right? Are they going to make a move on the quarterback position? We don't think so. Robert Saleh came out and said, this is our guy that we need to move forward with. And I don't agree with that. I hope he's lying. I hope he's just putting some coaching, words out of his mouth. But Garrett Wilson is scary. I'm not going to rule out the fact that he does have a lot of upside, maybe rest of the season, but I just don't believe that Zach Wilson could get his act together.
Yeah.
It has been horrendous, very bad, and it's proven that maybe he shouldn't be a quarterback one in this league. It just does not look good. If you want to trade Garrett Wilson for the most value, that is like right now. That is like yesterday, and it is tough. It says he also said PI Podcast says it's plummeting, but the chance they do get a guy, he could come back up in value, and that's exactly what I said. That I'm not going to rule out the fact that Garrett Wilson is so talented that he could come back late season if they do decide to switch on a quarterback. And I'm not talking about freaking Colin Kaepernick, so I don't want to hear that in the comment section. I'm tired of seeing that. But if they go out there and make a move, if I was the GM, if I was Robert Saleh, if I wanted to make a move, I had a voice there, I would go look at Gardner Minshew. I doubt that they'll let him go, but Gardner Minshew, I mean, really proved that he is a factor in this league. I always believed it was. I thought, like, hey, he had a lot of untapped potential that we didn't get to see, and maybe we could see it moving forward with the Jets. I'm really rooting for this guy, but he could come back up in value. So, but what are the chances then? Will it be too late for you? Will you be, with one win in your fantasy season? I say you got to cash in now before it's too late. I'm tired of waiting on the what ifs, right? I bet it on Jonathan Taylor. I bet it on Cooper Cup. It's just, I am done. But you got to go out there. You got to find what's available. Maybe a solid wide receiver 3. I think you could get as close as to a solid low end wide receiver 2, in my personal opinion, because you're going to find those truthers in your league saying, hey, Garrett Wilson still has a lot of value. He could potentially
Yeah.
do something for me. I got depth. I could hold on to him. I think you could get something as high as that. You agree here, Vince?
Yeah, man, I definitely think you can get someone like if you have the right suitor, of course, that's always what we have to say here because we can say trades here that we think are fair, but other people won't.
Correct.
I was thinking you can go as high as someone like a Christian Kirk, who's pretty hot right now. Calvin Ridley has kind of slowed down, and Christian Kirk is kind of taking that role that Calvin Ridley had in Week 1. But honestly, I feel like PI Podcast should know that Christian Kirk is someone to possibly trade for with that because they know a lot about the Jags. But I mean, there's a lot of guys. It's just like finding the right suitor. But yeah, I would say a high wide receiver 3 flex position or a low wide receiver 2. So
I do want to move on to Brandon's comment here, but just
sure.
Christian Kirk, I just have a bad taste in my mouth when it comes to the Jacksonville Jaguars wide receiver, right? Week 1, we're all kind of full with Ridley. I mean, it could still be that guy. He could still be him,
Yeah.
right? But Zay Jones, he goes down with an injury. Christian Kirk comes back from the ashes like a phoenix. And I mean,
Yeah.
what happens when you have a healthy wide receiver core? What happens when you see that offense just really click and get it all together? Who's going to be the main target? We really don't know. That's why I feel so uneasy whenever I'm betting on Christian Kirk or Zay Jones or even Calvin Ridley nowadays. But that's not a bad option around that area you want to look at. Brandon Rogers says, yes, sir. Y'all are live. I'm 0-3 in one of my leagues, and the only person that's not good on my team is Addison. What should I do? Trying to hang in there, but now I'm playing catch up. So the only person that is not good
It's
is
not good.
Addison. I think this is the highest time to sell right now. He came off an
Yeah.
excellent game. And if you got people in your league that don't really watch football, then they don't know that they're about to watch the most mid-tier challenge in practice right now. You're going to have Alexander Madison and Cam Akers duel it out just for, shared reps. I think they're going to split the reps right down the middle. I think you should go out there and trade him, sell him. I'm going to say this. This is my personal opinion. Probably 80% of the people are not going to agree with me. I just made this trade, but I think you should go out there and look after someone like Rachaad White. He's had one good game. He came off one of his worst games out there. Out of 14 rush attempts, he only had 7 points. But I don't know why people are denying the fact that they went up against the Philadelphia Eagles. That's a very tough matchup. And going forward, he's not going to see a matchup as tough as that. But that's just me. That's someone you could get on dirt cheap right now. But if you want to aim for someone, I would say try to trade Alexander Madison for maybe a Miles Sanders. I really like him out there. I know Vince is a big Chuba Hubbard guy, but they both see very high volume on that offense. No, not anymore.
I wouldn't say trade for Chuba Hubbard because he still is a backup. So until something bad happens to Miles Sanders, and we're not saying that we want that to happen, but
Ooh.
until then, Chuba Hubbard is still the back runner. He is gaining on Miles Sanders, and Miles Sanders is dealing with minor injuries here and there. So Chuba Hubbard will play a little bit more, but yeah, I don't think I would trade Madison for him because Madison still has some upside, in my opinion. I think them trading for Cam Akers kind of made them realize, we got to use our running back. So they might go double-headed running back, so it will dip into Madison's production, but I still think Madison's the number one guy there.
Yeah, as for now. I mean, we got a
As now,
lot of
yeah,
season to go. PA
yeah,
Podcast says, as a Jags fan, love Minshew. Obviously, Ant is their guy. Yes, it's
oh
true.
yeah,
Would a third or fourth be worth it? It would be for the Jets. Would the Colts like that? He was a 6th-round pick. Honestly, with someone like Gardner Minshew, I'm going to project something. I would like to see 4th, but I still feel like that's a little too high. Only seeing
yeah.
2
I was
games, and he
thinking
has it.
5.
Yeah, I was gonna say probably around a 5th-round pick. Will probably be his range right there, but it will be an excellent pickup for the Jets. And it's not like the Jets are struggling with money, right? They got some moolah out there, and they also got some what do you call that trade value as far as
Yeah.
picks. So I would love to see Minshew get another shot in the NFL, a fair shot, I should say. And I don't know if this is a fair shot, but it certainly gives him a chance to go out there and show that he's a QB1. Says PI Podcast says I tried to trade Kirk for Garrett straight up last week and it was declined. Hey man, like I said, you gotta feel for
Yeah.
your league. I mean, some guys, I week one I tried to trade for Najee Harris, and I mean I'm kind of glad that it didn't go through. Right, Najee Harris is on that huge decline, but I totally get it. I mean, it was an unfair trade to people's eyes, and I if you're in my shoes, you can't say no to that. Ethan John says, "Yo, what's up? What's going on, guys? It's been a while. Hey, man, hope you're doing well. Hopefully,
Yes.
your fantasy football is doing well as well, as well. Vincent, I'll get your doppelganger right here. You could go ahead and read this one.
Intro. I remember the first time, I think it was last week was the first time that he first commented here. So welcome back, man. He said, "What would you trade Geno Smith and Devontae Smith for Justin Fields and Mike Evans?" Okay, so I think I was the perfect person to read this one because I was very high on Justin Fields coming into the season. I still think there is some upside there. I do believe that the Chicago Bears will get a little bit of a groove going sometime in the middle of the season. But as of right now, if Geno Smith is your starting quarterback, I think I probably would do this because Geno Smith isn't the highest scoring quarterback in fantasy. You're not going to pretty much be losing too many points, probably like 4 points a week, because Justin Fields still has that running capability. He could get a rushing touchdown here or there. But giving away Devontae Smith for Mike Evans, I think can be a little bit risky. So that's where I think I wouldn't do this because Devontae Smith is still going to be getting that ball. Even if AJ Brown is producing as well, Devontae Smith will also, because they are the 1-2 punch there. And I think the only thing that takes away from their value is that they don't get too many touchdowns because they got some touchdown hungry quarterbacks and running backs.
It's
So
disgusting.
yeah,
It
it,
pisses
it
me
really
off.
is. It does, bro. I
Like
think I could have won this past week against someone who had Justin or
hurts.
sorry, my bad. Yeah, Hurts. They had Hurts and I had AJ Brown, and AJ Brown had 2 touchdowns that he could have caught, and then after that incompletion, they were like, "We're just gonna give the ball to Hurts." Yeah, we're just
It's
gonna do that.
so disgusting. I mean,
I
you
was like,
see these
"Jeez."
running backs doing all the work, and it's just, I hate it. I hate it because Hurts, I want him to get exposed. And if it wasn't for those
Yeah,
touchdowns, it would be
he'd
like,
be a,
ugh.
a very bad fantasy quarterback.
Honestly, yes. And we did see Baker finally look like Baker this, or was it yesterday, which is
Yeah,
not pretty. I feel so bad for Mike Evans, but don't worry, he's not going to be a Buccaneer next year or maybe half this season.
yeah.
We'll see what happens because there's also that. Ray says Gibbs or White this week, and he wants me to say Rashad White, like I used to back in the day. But this is something you got to keep an eye on because David Montgomery might miss out for another week, and if he does, Gibbs' volume should be up, and I know he's still producing, not like everyone's expecting him to, but this is where you got to look at matchups, right? I
Yeah.
like White. He is going to have a better matchup than he did yesterday. I think he's going to get the volume. I think Gibbs has a higher ceiling here. It kind of sounds weird, right? Because White takes all the reps out there while Gibbs has to split it like 60-40. But Gibbs is going to see a lot more, what do you call that? Potential to see the end zone when it comes to the Lions. And I think the Buccaneers are just struggling. They're still trying to figure out who they are. And that offensive line for the Buccaneers has just been crazy. I'll still give it a Gibbs. I know we struck out for 3 weeks now, but I don't know. I like Gibbs a little more here in the White.
Yeah, man, I think I was gonna say Gibbs because I'm not too sure. I haven't heard anything on Montgomery, but they do have a Thursday game, so it is more than likely going to be Gibbs taking the majority of those carries and those pass down usage. But Rashad White isn't a bad guy to have as a crutch because they are going against the Saints, and I think he would still have pretty good production even though their defensive line is good. But I think I'm still going with Gibbs here. I think he has the edge right now. And it's week 4 against the Packers. You know that the Lions want to beat them. So I definitely think that Gibbs will have the better week this week.
Definitely. Brandon Rogers says, would you say Christian Kirk and Madison for Rashad White is good? I think that's a bit of overpay right now. Like I said, I do think he'll be worth that much the back half of the season. But right now, you could get him really, really cheap, and take advantage of it now. So go out there and get him cheap. I just want to read you all some stats so you guys can see a little bit what I'm seeing here. I'm going to talk about the first 3 weeks of how many attempts he got. Week 1, he had 17 rushing attempts. Week 2, 17 rushing attempts. Week 3, 14 rushing attempts, and that's because they were behind in the game. And then also targets. Week 1, 2 targets. Week 2, 5 targets. Week 3, 3 targets. So he's also somewhat getting involved in the passing game. So I like that a lot when it comes to a running back. There's a lot of untapped potential there, but he needs to pick up his productivity. He has this week and then a bye week to get it together. But that's all I'm saying. Hopefully you guys can see what I'm seeing, but get him dirt cheap right now. Bro, you all want to hear a story? Yeah. So I work with
Oh
the guy
god.
who's in our league, right? And I was like, oh, yeah, I got my trade. And I was explaining to him. He's like, wow, I didn't really see it that way. I guess I'll press pass now. I was like, you voted against it? And he was like, yeah. I was like, why? He's like, because I don't know. And I was like, what do you mean you don't know? Like, you don't know why you're voting against it? Like, come
People
on.
just don't like. They don't look into it, bro.
They don't. They don't. And it was honestly a fair trade. It's probably like a even trade, if not,
I think it is.
Whatever. PI Podcast says, I would definitely do the Geno for Fields because if Fields poops the bed, you can easily get a QB off the waivers that will replace Geno's production if it falls. That's a good point. I was going to say, if you do that trade, make sure you hit up the waiver wire and make sure that people
Get a
like
good
Jordan
backup.
Love and Brock Purdy are not on that board. If they are, I would just switch them out if I were you.
Yeah.
I'm stuck switching out Brock Purdy with Dak Prescott. I kind of want to drop Dak Prescott now. I also have Anthony Richardson on the bench, but that's just how we
Yeah.
do.
Me too, man. I'm waiting for him to come back because I know he's gonna be putting up some points.
I'm just scared, dude. Week 1 injured, week 2 injured.
It's just I think he'll learn. I definitely think the Colts front office as well as the head coach there, they're gonna talk to him like, hey, you need to slide, bro. Like, this is a new type of league. We know you're a bigger guy, but you got to protect yourself. It's already 2 times in a row that
yeah,
that he's getting hurt in some capacity. So
yeah. If he keeps
well,
it going, he's gonna have a very short career.
yeah,
Um, Brandon says, "Don't be hate on my boy Baker Mayfield. Nobody does good against the Eagles defense." Hey, I beg to differ. I don't think the Eagles have really looked like the
yeah,
Eagles this year so far, and they have a tough sledding season after this week. I mean, they're really starting to hit some big heavy hitters. They still got to hit the Cowboys twice, which I know what we saw. It was an embarrassment against the Cardinals. Everyone was shocked. Everyone lost money because of them. But also, the Niners play the Eagles. I'm super excited. I had that day marked on my calendar. I mean, I'm excited. I mean, they're going to have a tough matchup, but I think they're still trying to get things together defensively. PI Podcast says, what about Stroud? I know Jags pooped the bed on all levels, but man, Stroud showed he can take advantage of that. Same with Tank Dell and Nico Collins. All three look solid options. Hey, man, I do believe you are on our Discord. You are on our Discord. On our Fantasy Talk, I do give out waiver wire sheets that I make every single week. And on top of that sheet, I have CJ Stroud because he's only rostered in 32% of leagues. And this is my notes on him, right? I'm not even going to look at my notes because I know it. This guy is super impressive. This is a super pass heavy team. Last week, he saw the least amount of pass attempts for the guy, and that was 30. That's pretty darn good. Week 1 and 2, you had 45 plus pass attempts. That is just nuts from a guy who's out there. That may change a little bit because you could tell the defenses are like, you know what, we're going to stop the run and make this guy win with his arm. And that's exactly what he's doing. And he has these young, hungry wide receivers that are willing to do so. And yes, that's Nico Collins and Tank Dell. It's really a race to see who's going to be the wide receiver one. And everyone's just on the edge of their seats like, just pick already. I want to start someone. I'm tired of playing this guessing games. It was Nico Collins. No, it's Tank Dell. Or maybe we should look at Robert Woods. It's just, oh man.
yeah. And he says, I mean, he's over 100 attempts without an interception. So that is insane for a rookie at least. I think the exact number is 119 passing attempts, something like that. Could be 121. I can't remember, but that's still a lot for a rookie, especially
Yes.
on the Texans. Like you're
Confidence.
definitely used to the Texans rookies, whoever they draft, whoever they put in at their quarterback position, to make some mistakes. And I'm not saying that he's played perfect, but he's played pretty clean football in my opinion. And I think that's why they were able to take advantage of, the sloppy play from the Jaguars this past week. Uh, I definitely think they could be a contending team in the rest of the games that they play.
Same here. I mean, shoot, man, the way they play, they could potentially make a run for that division. But Gabriel Acevedo, I think I said his last name right, says, I need answers. Well, we got answers. At running back 2, wide receiver 2, at flex, here are my options. Puka, Tutu, Ridley, Myers, AJ Brown, Kyron Williams, Jerome Ford, Josh Jacobs. Please pick the best answer for these 3 positions. Thank you. No, thank you for joining our live stream. I believe this is the first time you've been here. Thank you so much. If you're feeling considerate or if you like our advice, hit that subscribe button. It helps us out a lot. Or join our Discord. The link is in our description below. Okay, so let's get into it, right? We see Puka just absolutely just last night,
Yeah.
which lost me some money. So I'm pretty pissed. And it's not that the Cincinnati Bengals know how to cover him now. It's just that every single route he ran was a deep vertical. Why?
Yep.
He's a slant guy. No, let's just give it a 2-2. So I don't like what they're doing out there in Los Angeles. I kind of lost hope for both those guys because that just tells me that it's going to be inconsistent, right? And now you have Jacoby Myers, AJ Brown. And Ridley. I'm not going to leave out Ridley there, but I think we're going to rule him out if I'm not mistaken.
I don't like Ridley at all, honestly. I think he had a one and done type of game.
True. Well, there's rumors saying that, Jimmy G is going to get benched. Surprise, surprise. Who's surprised? Not I, said the fly. Jimmy G without the Niners ain't crap, man. And then you have AJ Brown. You saw AJ Brown get a very good volume last night. I think you have to roll with AJ Brown just because the uncertainty when it comes to the quarterback out there at Las Vegas. I do like Jacoby Myers a little bit more, but with a new quarterback potentially coming in, I don't like that uncertainty. I would go with AJ Brown, who's starting to hit his stride with that offense. You agree there, Vince?
Yeah, I definitely think so for sure. My picks obviously were going to be AJ Brown. I think I was going to go with Myers at the flex, and then I was going to go with Josh Jacobs just because of matchup for the running back 2 position. They're going against the Chargers, and Chargers don't have a good run defense, and that's usually a high scoring game. So I could see Josh Jacobs finally having that breakout type of game that we're used to. There you go, Reed. We'll be here holding down the fort, okay? But Kyrie says, "What's up, gang?" So look at that. But yeah, that's what I think, honestly, in my opinion. That's what I would probably go with if that was my bench and I was trying to pick the top 3 guys to go ahead and fill out my roster.
Nice, nice. So yeah, I do like AJ Brown, and believe it or not, the Colts do have a good rush defense. But
Yeah.
I still kind of like Kyron Williams. He is the workhorse out there. And are we going to give Josh Jacobs another go for it? I mean,
I feel like
with the options you have there, I think the matchup you kind of have to try it out, right? You kind
yeah.
of have to feel for it. I'll say he will be a good flex, even if he gives you 9 points, 9 to 10 points. You got to be happy with it. Jerome Ford, let's not get fooled, you guys. All right, he got a touchdown. Wait, he got one or two
I think it was
touchdowns.
just one.
But when you look at his yards, his average yards per rush, he's barely
Oh yeah.
averaging a yard and a half.
That was ugly.
It's
That was
ugly. It is ugly. So everyone who called me a fool for taking out Kareem Hunt, joke's on you, fool. But I think eventually they're going to be splitting the backfield and maybe see a switch in the running back 1. Not saying it's guaranteed, but it's just not good production from Jerome Ford, right? And they have someone else who is a veteran, familiar with the system, and could also catch the ball. You might see a switch up. But those are our answers for you, Gabriel. Hopefully that helps you out, and hopefully you win this upcoming week. We should probably still be going live this upcoming week for fantasy football. We're aiming towards Saturday if we can. So keep an eye out. So if you hit that subscribe button, make sure you hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever we go live and you don't miss out on our fantasy advice. Or just leave a comment in the comment section and we'll get to every single one of those.
Serious.
Kyrie says, Reed. Oh, like, look, Kyrie, you haven't been here for the past month and you're calling out Reed. I am so disappointed in you, but I am not surprised. I love it. Miss you, man.
He's been avoiding us because of some of the trash.
We don't bring that up. We don't bring that up. Hey. PI Podcast says, I like AJ Brown, even though Eagles are struggling a bit. As a Jags fan, I stay away from Ridley. He is so rusty. Puka and Tutu, for now, is I hate say Puka and Tutu. Like, come on. I feel like a
I
kid's show. Puka and Tutu for now isn't bad, but once Cup comes back, everything changes. It's like Thanos snapping his fingers, right? You find the balance. You put Puka, you put Tutu back in their place. And Cooper Cup is not only just a deep threat guy, but he's the everything guy.
Yep,
So,
he does everything. He's like a Puka and Tutu as well as like a deep threat, all combined. So can't wait for him to come back. He's gonna change fantasy and the league.
he's going to change my team. He needs to. Well, actually, wide receivers are not doing too bad. I just need help in the running back position. Jonathan
Yeah,
Taylor, please come back. I beg of you.
for
I need
real,
you.
bro, for real.
We got Frankie Martinez. Haven't seen this guy in a hot minute. He says, got my wide receiver two. I hear a door opening. Got my wide receiver two and flex open between these players: Cortland Sutton, Brian Robinson, and Christian Kirk. Oh, and DeAndre Hopkins. What do we think? Okay. We saw
Honestly,
Sutton have a very high volume last week.
yeah,
Is that what you're going to say?
yeah. I think that was gonna be my first pick for sure. I've been keeping up a little bit with how he's been playing. He's been doing pretty good in my opinion. Not too shabby. Hey, is there a ghost in your room again,
I
Adrian?
don't know. Hey, I'll let you take care of this question. I think I want to make sure
Go
no one's
ahead.
vandalizing my house.
For real, man. You got them people out there. You never know. But yeah, I don't like this screen at all, but we'll wait anyways. But I was gonna go ahead and go with Cortland Sutton. I think he's been averaging about 15 points in week 1, week 2, week 3, and that's because in this last week they were passing quite a bit. So he did get, I believe, 10 targets to him. I think he caught about 5 or 6. But I still think that Cortland Sutton is the number one option there for the Broncos and Russell Wilson, just because Jared Judy has not been playing like himself. So I definitely think for the first guy that I would put in at the wide receiver 2 position, it was going to be Cortland Sutton. Honestly, I didn't like the way Brian Robinson played this year, but I didn't like this week, but I didn't like how the Commanders played as a team.
Oh,
It was very sloppy. I think that was a game that was kind of a wake up call for them. But the Bills came to play, so I will give it the credit to the Bills. But in my opinion, think you would I would go with Christian Kirk until Christian Kirk proves me wrong that he's not going to be a guy who's consistent. But right now, with 20 points back-to-back games, I still think Christian Kirk has given a little bit too much just to bench him. So honestly, I'm going to go with Cortland Sutton and Christian Kirk as my safe picks here.
he's earning that paycheck, huh?
Yeah, he should be because I didn't know what was gonna happen if Calvin really just came in and took over and Christian Kirk went bye-bye.
Yeah. I would say I'm not totally opposed to DeAndre Hopkins just because they are going against Cincinnati
Yeah,
Bengals. And the Bengals have just, oh, I'm sorry, Kyrie. I know you're here, but the Bengals have just been a huge disappointment this season. And
it's
I'm
been
still
bad.
trying to like see a potential trade partner for Joe Burrow just because I do believe he'll come back later on in the season. But like I said, I have so many risks right now on my team. I just rather have someone who will be consistent and at least give me 16 points a game. Is that too much to ask for?
For real.
Brandon says the first time yesterday I went for the Bengals. I had Jamar Chase in one of my leagues. He's starting to finally catch traction on that field. So hopefully it continues. And hopefully we do see the Bengals get more and more comfortable. Or I don't know, maybe it's just Joe Burrow still shaking off that rust. He's dealing with that
Yeah.
injury. I just Okay, so if you're saying it's Joe Burrow's injury, then all right, I'll keep him. You convinced me to keep him and not trade him to you. Thank you, Kyrie. I appreciate that.
Oh,
Ooh.
dang.
Yeah, but speaking of, oh yeah, let me take that. I forgot we had that banner on. We've been getting a lot of comments. Appreciate you guys. Keep it coming. We'll answer every single one of y'all's questions. Um, Thank you guys. Feels good to be back. Heck yeah, man. Hopefully you are
Love to have
dominating
you,
your
man.
fantasy league. Heck, always, always. And we're coming close to our next goal, which is 500 subscribers, right? This past live stream, we gained 16 new subscribers. So let's welcome to the family all those subscribers out there. And once we hit 500, you already know that it's giveaway time. We do some major giveaways out here, giveaways that this small channel has no business of doing, but we do it anyways just to get back to you guys. And we have so much stuff coming up. Peep the hat. You guys like that? NSP Fantasy. That is the official logo or unofficial official logo because I need to get it approved by these guys. But I like it. We'll see what happens in the future. But staying on that quarterback topic, like I said earlier, everyone should go out there and look into their who's on the waiver board, right? If you see the name Brock Purdy, if you see the name Jordan Love, get them off of there. Find them a home. Those are some good players that deserve a home. Please, guys, please. And speaking of Jordan Love, we got the biggest love
Ooh,
guy out there.
looking good, Reed. What's up, man? Oh, I
Do
think he's
a
muted.
Baker Mayfield giveaway. That's actually not a bad idea. That'll probably be the cheapest giveaway we've ever done. We should probably do that. But I'm kidding, Brandon. I'm not
I
trying
like
to
it.
bust your chops. Oh, I sound old there, busting your chops. Puka
You're old, man.
Nakua Tutu. Puka Nakua Tutu. That's the word of the day today. But Reed, welcome. How are you feeling? We went up against each other in 2 different leagues,
Yep.
and we're 1-on-1. One of them, I just
Ooh.
absolutely crapped the bed, and the other one, I came back, risen from the ashes like the phoenix that I am, and I just won by like less than a point, I
It
think.
was like
You won by 2 points.
Yeah.
You're so lucky. I forgot about Thursday Night Football.
Oh, geez. I'm lucky. You know what? I don't call it luck. I call it being blessed. I am blessed that you forgot about Thursday Night Football. But I mean, it was still a high scoring game. You did really well for one person getting 0 points.
Yep.
Jeez, who did you have in, Reed?
Brandon Ayuk.
Brandon Ayuk in one
Oh,
league and
goodness.
Saquon in the other.
Oh, I know a lot of people who made that
Wow.
mistake.
Yep.
But it is what it is.
Totally
That's fantasy
forgot.
football. You still won in one of those leagues, so it's
I
not a
won,
complete
yeah.
loss.
You
Hey.
completely crapped the bed in that one.
I did. Like I said, I had, for a little story for everyone who's here that didn't hear it when it first started, I had Joe Burrow 9 points. My 2 running backs had a combined score of 6 points. And then my defense, the Jacksonville Jaguars, who I had a lot of hopes for, gave me -3 points. It was just a horrible, horrible week. My wide receivers killed it like they always do, but it's just tough when your team only consists of wide receivers, a decent tight end, and a kicker that likes to hit 12 points every single week. But what else can you do? Kyrie says, isn't this some crap? I'm number 1 in 2 of the 3 NSP fantasy leagues and last in the 3rd league, bruh. Hey, man, that league that you're last in, it has all 3 of us in there. So that just gives you a little taste of what the true power of NSP is, brother. No, I'm just kidding. But hey, man, I did notice that league is super competitive. We have some real dogs out there who are playing to compete, and I can't blame them because if you are in that NSP Go League, which we have these NSP Fantasy Football Leagues every single year, so if you haven't yet, hit us up for next year. We're going to have a championship belt. It was awesome. What? Vince, did you drop the F-bomb?
I don't know what Brandon's talking about.
What, Vince? You did?
I did.
I thought it was on Friday or Saturday.
I don't remember.
I thought we were all here.
Yeah, because I don't know if it was.
Unless you dropped one yesterday and I don't remember it.
I don't know. I think it was
Vince,
on
we
Saturday.
can't keep count of how many times you're cursing, man. This is getting ridiculous.
Dude, it's only one time, Reed. You can count it on one hand, you know?
Dude, look at Brandon keeping tabs. Oh my gosh. We need to watch ourselves. But remember, we are a PG 16.5 show, so we are allowed 1.5 F-bombs per show.
Yeah, man. If you know any high schoolers, you know that there's about 120 to 150 F-bombs they drop on the daily. So
dude, these kids are so bad nowadays.
Give us at least one here and there.
These kids must be stopped. But okay, so let's go ahead and move on. We're kind of all over the place today, but one area that we haven't hit up was the running backs. And one guy who is the talk of the town, the princess, the prettiest girl of the ball, that is Devon. I'm still going to call him A-Chain until I hear an announcer say A-Chan or A-Chan. I'm still not sure how to say it correctly. I think
Achan.
Vince is it Achan?
Yes.
I think he said it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
he
was
did.
telling
It's not
reporters. Achan.
Rave says, "Damn, I just made the cut." So Devon Achan.
Yeah, I like that.
What's with these names this year, man? Devon Achan goes out there and scores not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 touchdowns, 2 passing touchdowns, which really just shovel passes, and 2 rushing touchdowns, which he hit the outside with his extreme speed and got in the end zone. Extremely tough guy. Can we expect this every single week? Is this a guy that we absolutely just throw our fab on, waste it all like we're just Helen Keller on a shopping spree? What do we do here, guys? So is he a league winner?
I think he can be.
Yeah, it's a possibility because Mostert, just like how Brandon Rogers right now is saying, he's like, is Achan worth the pickup with another running back above him, and that's Mostert. We can't get past the fact that Mostert also had 4 touchdowns, 3 rushing, 1 receiving. So I mean, they both did pretty well. I don't think that there's a possibility they replicate this type of game. But as long as Mostert is ahead of him, I'm not spending any of my fab on Achan or A-Chain, however you want to say it, because I already spent $15, or I think it was like 13 on Ford.
16.
Jeez.
Was it?
I think
No,
so.
I have $85 left in the league. So
Oh, okay.
I'm keeping
like,
it until it gets gritty later on. I know there's going to be some more injuries, so. But I think he can possibly do good for the rest of the season, but I don't know if he's going to be anything higher than a flex for me if I were to have him.
As I said preseason, I said pick this guy up as your last pick of the draft and be patient, right? Be patient because as you get closer to midseason, you're going to see this guy get more and more and more reps, taking away from Raheem the Dream Mostert. I did not expect him to go from 2 rush attempts to holy crap, I am the freaking fantasy guy, that you need to pick up. It was just absolutely insane. But this guy is still going to continue to get more and more reps, but I'm really interested to see how they run that backfield whenever they have him, Raheem Mostert, and then Jeff Wilson Jr. comes back healthy. Because as we saw last year, they shared that backfield. Now, are they going to do that again with Jeff Wilson Jr. there? I don't know. It's kind of tough to say, but this is a guy that you definitely want to take that risk. And if you have a spot available, pick him up. Put him on your roster. It can't hurt you. Don't start him, but put him on your roster. Don't start him just yet.
Do it.
Brandon says Achan could be a one-hit wonder because they were facing the Broncos. Hey, man, the Broncos are a very bad team.
He's a one-hit wonder as far as getting 50-some points. That will not happen again.
No.
Can he get 20? I believe so.
20, yes. I think he could be, especially towards the end of the season, at the running of averaging 20 points a game. I definitely believe that. With that high-scoring offense, there's just so many weapons there. You can't even load up the box because you got people like Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. That's because Jalen Waddle was out that game. It's just like, whoa.
It makes 0 sense how they were able to do all that.
Oh, my gosh, dude. It's insane. I kind of low-key wanted them to score a little bit more just because I don't think has that happened in an NFL game?
It's the 3rd highest ever. And it's the highest since 1966, that many points. The highest is 72. If they had kicked the field goal at the very end, they would have had the most scoring game of all time. But Mike McDaniel, classic guy, wasn't going to be that type of guy who chases points.
I wish it was Monday because I kind of want to talk about the head coaches, right?
You missed it.
I did.
It's your own fault.
Hey, man, it is what it is. Russell is done after this year, after that performance. He should have been done last year. Yeah, it is bad, but they paid so much for him. So what do you do as an organization? Are they done with Russell Wilson? Are they cutting ties with Sean Payton, even though they just got him? What are they going to do? I really don't know. I like this guy's comments. Probably my favorite comment so far. Says, "Go Niners, bang bang Niner gang, hell yeah, brother! We're gonna defeat them freaking Cardinals this upcoming week, and we're gonna show the Cowboys how to do it because obviously they have no idea how to." But appreciate you watching the show. Please consider hitting the subscribe button. And we got another question from Gabriel Acevedo.
I said it.
He did correct me the first time, so I think I said it right. So, second question. Willing to drop Nico on the waiver wire. I want to swing for the fences for Devon A-Chain, but Jordan Love is sitting there too. Which one and why? Hurts is my number one, and his bye isn't until week 10. Hey, man, I don't think Jordan Love will be available by week 10.
Nope.
I'm straight out there, right? And if you got Jalen Hurts, who is just a touchdown vulture, and I can't stand that he's a touchdown vulture, the team that runs the most QB sneaks out there, I say if you're willing to drop Nico Collins, if you got the depth in wide receiver position, I think you go swing for the fences, Devon A-Chain. That's just me. I'll worry about QB later. By week 10, we should see some other upcoming quarterbacks that should be decent enough to hold you off for 1 week, where A-Chain has a lot more potential in the back half of the season. Also want to put it out there, just keep an eye on your waiver priority. If your waiver priority is low, you're probably not going to get A-Chain. This is probably this guy that's on top of everyone's waiver priority. So if you are low out there, might as well just go get yourself Jordan Love and hold on to him until week 10. But if you're pretty high up there, go get yourself some Achan. Sorry, Achan.
So disrespectful.
I know. Reed, do you have an opposing opinion here? Because I know Jordan Love is your guy.
Sorry, I gotta read it. I was answering work texts. I'm always working. Swing for the fencers for A-Chain. Jordan Love is sitting there. Which one and why? Jalen Hurts is my number one, and his bye week isn't until week 10. I mean, if you can lock up Love as your backup and just want him sitting there, I don't know about him going above Jalen Hurts just because the Jalen Hurts rushing touchdown effect. But yeah, I doubt, unless you have a low waiver wire, that you're able to get Chon. So if you want to get Jordan Love as your backup and have a solid backup for week 10, I would go ahead and do it. Who the Packers playing week 10?
I have no idea. That's like waste look. I just got a notification on our Discord. I'm gonna go ahead.
Steelers. Oh, the stinky defense.
They actually have a good defensive
front.
What? I think they have a decent defense. I like their defense.
It's decent.
I'm gonna put something on here. This was posted on our Discord, and I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know if I don't like it. I don't like it.
Are you talking about the trade that just got commented?
So one of our fans out here in the Discord, which if you haven't yet, join our Discord. It's in the description down below. We answer fantasy football questions all day, every day, all night. He says, I can't believe it. I just offered London and Terry for Higgins and Deuce Vaughn, and the Deuce snapped accepted. But Deuce Vaughn,
I know.
I think he's just going after Higgins here.
I think so too. Well, another thing is I don't know why anyone would have Deuce Vaughn in their lineup.
Yeah.
Am I missing something here? Is Deuce Vaughn getting some reps out here?
No.
I'm going to look that up.
I checked a little bit earlier today, and I mean his fantasy numbers are not very high. I don't think his snap percentage is high either. But I could be wrong. You never know.
His snap percentage is 14% week 1, 15% week 2, and then he totally missed week 3. I don't know if it was from injury or what, but I don't know. But I don't know. T. Higgins, good for you. Hopefully you can pick it up just for, your sake. Like I said, London is a little scary because, Desmond is I have no idea what to say about Desmond, honestly. I don't like what he's doing so far. Week 2, I saw a little spurt of potential, and then he just totally crapped the bed. And then you got Terry McLaurin, who is going to start losing production more and more as the season goes on. It seems like the Commanders consistently want to give the ball to 18 different people every single game, which I don't like. Let's see.
Mm-hmm.
So Deuce Vaughn is bad to get. why would you get him? I mean, he's only seen the most amount of snap percentage he's seen is 15%, and he missed
And
last week.
even then, like the carries that he does get, he's not looking very explosive. You know, like we saw him in preseason, he played decently well, but that's preseason. Coming into these week 1 and week 2 games, every time he got the ball on those like, you know, trash time type of runs, you know, it wasn't very good in my opinion. So even if he does start, I definitely think that Deuce Vaughn is not a running back that you would want on your team.
I don't think it's a total loss, though. I mean, if he's going out there for T. Higgins, he got him, right? I think he's going to be a lot more reliable in the long run other than London and Terry McLaurin. So not a bad trade. I think he just put Deuce Vaughn out there so the guy could be like, you know what, let's do it. So he might be playing chess and we're playing checkers. So Santana Mock says, hold T-Law? Ooh, that's a good question here.
I have that same predicament in one of my leagues.
If Kyrie's still here, I want to point out the fact that he was like, "Wow, dude, you're going to say Justin Herbert is the same as Trevor Lawrence? Are you kidding me?" Hey, man, Justin Herbert has been on top of his game, buddy.
Yeah.
But honestly, I do believe that Trevor Lawrence will get his act together. He has a lot of talent in his wide receivers, has a lot of talent in his backfield. It's a talented roster. It really is. And you know what? It was a division game. Whether it be the Texans or not, the Texans showed that they could show out. So I'm not going to hold them to fault there. I say you hold on to T-Law. I'm not ready to press the panic button. It's only been 3 weeks. It's only been. I mean, if your QBs are as scarce as they are in our leagues, I don't think you should let them go. But what do y'all think here?
What do you think, Reed?
I would personally hold him. I think the Jaguars' offense will figure it out fully eventually. I'm not too worried about it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, man. I personally am in the same predicament. I am probably going to bench him for. I think in that one I have Love as my backup quarterback, but I could be wrong. I think it might be Anthony Richardson. So I'm just waiting for him to come back from injury, and then I'm going to slide them into my starting lineup. But I am not dropping Trevor Lawrence because I do believe there will be games out there where he is playing lights out. It's just not right now.
Yeah. Back after the season. Gabriel Acevedo, he did say I got his name right. Hell yeah, man. It says last question. Hey man, bring the questions in. If you think of one that we're offline, put it in the comment section. We'll respond to it. And if you haven't yet, please consider hitting that subscribe button. It will be greatly appreciated. He says at tight end, I got Evan Ingram and Hunter Henry. Was thinking of dropping Henry for Sam Laporta. Your thought? Yes. You go out there, you get Sam Laporta. We talked about him all off season. Vince right here, I got to give this guy all the credit in the world because he was high on him in the off season. And I was kind of like skeptical about it. I was like, Reed was high on him in the off season. And I was kind of skeptical about it, but I wasn't opposed to it. But I mean, this guy has really proven that he is a dog, right? He has that little dog in him. I think, yes, you should go out there. And Sam Laporta is available in your league. You should definitely have him as a roster spot. It's not like you're desperate. You do have Evan Ingram. But, I mean, I would much rather have Sam Laporta than Hunter Henry and that stupid quarterback in the New England Patriots, man. That guy should be suspended. He should be gone.
AJ.
I'm like, dude, he was like,
you can't even see the hand. You have no proof.
We did see the hand. There's new video evidence.
To coddle him a little bit. That's all.
What, to make sure they're still there? Good old. Dude, that dude should be in prison. You don't do that. He's a tool, man. Come on. How disrespectful is that?
I think Sauce is trying to frame him.
What do you mean we have video evidence? All I'm saying is that
you can't see the hand.
You can't be that quote unquote dirty, disrespectful player that has dirty hits, that cup checks people while you're freaking crying your eyes out when you have a high ankle sprain. You can't be that same dude. You can't. And then for someone who can't show out on games, you can't be that guy. Sorry, I'm getting worked up, but these guys know how I feel about Mac Jones. I just don't like that guy whatsoever. And it's just, I'm so glad the Niners did pick him. Yeah, the Niners pick was a bust, but hey, I'd much rather have our situation than be with Mac freaking Jones. Yuck. I don't know. Sorry, I went off on a little rant there.
You're okay. You're okay.
But talking about tight ends, Vincent, not everyone is as fortunate as having Laporta on their waiver options. So who can they go out there and look out for? I wasn't very happy with the guys that I picked, but I'm thinking maybe I have one of the same guys that you have in mind. So go ahead, Vince. Let us know.
Ooh, okay. Well, I got 3 for this week. I'll just talk about them briefly because I talked about one of them last week. That's Logan Thomas, and he's on nobody's radar at this point in time because right now he's on concussion protocol. But by the time Sunday rolls around, he should be healthy because this will be his second week that he's been out. Logan Thomas, he's been doing good. I mean, first week 8 points, second week 10 points, but he goes against one of the easiest teams that he can possibly go against coming back from injury. He just avoided playing against Buffalo in week 3, who is one of the toughest teams, but he's playing against the Eagles, and he has a 5-game stretch of where he's going to play teams that are very, very weak against tight end play. So the way that the Commanders are probably going to be coming back after that bad loss, I think Logan Thomas is probably a guy you should look after. But let's see. Reed, you want to go ahead and read this comment?
This is from Vintro, very close to Vinto. Is this your cousin, Vincent?
No, it's not.
Okay.
I wish he was,
Prince?
It's Prince. That's an inside joke there. Vintro says, I have Lockett, Thielen, and Tank Dell. I have a wide receiver spot available and a flex spot available. Which 2 of the 3 do you start? All right, we're picking 2 out of 3 here. Lockett, Thielen, and Tank Dell. I'm definitely putting Lockett in there. Thielen, I don't remember what his production was this past week. It was good.
Know what it was. You know what
Very
it was.
I don't remember.
Why are you hating?
Dude, I fell asleep part of Sunday, right? I'm sorry.
He doesn't watch he doesn't watch any Vikings players or any old
Thielen's
Vikings
nasty.
players.
I think I would go Lockett and Tank Dell.
Wow.
Yeah, I see
Okay.
you there.
Vince, I want to hear your thoughts here.
So
I don't know if I'm crazy or not.
I was a little biased, but this past week, even in our big win, Lockett was not present because he was taking the back seat to give some other guys some catches, like Jake Bobo. If you haven't heard anything about, Jake Bobo is our new. Yeah, Reed knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I've heard a little bit about it.
So Jake Bobo got his first touchdown. He's one of the rookies that we drafted, or he was undrafted. My bad. And he's one of the slowest wide receivers in the NFL, but he has some of the greatest route running you've ever seen.
Okay.
That's why Tyler Lockett took the back seat. And DK Metcalf actually came to play even with the rib injury. So my unbiased little rant there is going to be that I would probably play Thielen and Tank Dell until Lockett can go ahead and give me another game where he's actually present and he's getting those touchdown looks. Then I'll start playing Lockett again. But with 8 points this past week, I don't think that's a very good start, especially at the flex position.
Wow, dude, that's surprising. I thought Lockett would definitely be a guy that you should start, but I didn't really see much of the Seahawks game. I do want to look at Tank Dell a little bit just to verify, because you know me, it's hard, right? It's hard to be like, yes, go start Tank Dell, but you're talking about guys who get targets, and those guys is Tank Dell, Adam Thielen. Now we could be wrong with this, but these guys are getting the targets and should for sure get you the points that you're looking for. But you heard it from the Seahawks fan guy himself. He says he wants to be certain about Lockett. So there you go, Ventro. Appreciate the question. Santana Mock says, hold Brees Hall? Question mark. I have Ramondre, Kenneth Walker, and JT on the bench. You're just like me, bud. I'm really hoping that JT comes back and plays. But Brees Hall, are we selling Brees Hall?
I definitely think that the Jets do not have an identity anymore ever since Rodgers went down. I'm very skeptical about playing anybody from the Jets at this point in time.
I just feel like they're going to be playing catch up the whole season whenever Zach Wilson's in there. I mean, what do you do, right? You have such a talented roster. You see the frustrations offensively and defensively. You're so talented, but you have one guy that's just like, oh my gosh, you're awful, right? and that Brees Hall sharing that backfield too, it just doesn't help whatsoever. I think we're selling high on Brees Hall while he still has a name, even though there's a slight possibility that we could see a new quarterback out there. I'm not willing to bet on it, but I'd say we sell Brees Hall. If JT comes back, you're still looking pretty, man. You're still looking pretty. But Reed, what you put?
Oh, he was asking our thoughts because we didn't react in the Discord. So I put we reacted to it live right now, talking about the trade we talked about. We thought it was good getting Higgins, but getting that midget Deuce really confused us. Overall, we thought it was a win.
You can't stop talking bad about Deuce Vaughn. You're basically making fun of me and Vince.
Dude, I'm not making fun of you guys.
You're making fun of his height. We're the same height as Deuce Vaughn.
I'm not telling you guys to play in the NFL, all right? I think if you guys played in the NFL, you guys would get killed just like this guy's going to get killed.
Excuse me, dude.
AJ, you against TJ Watts?
Look at that, dude. Hey, lowest man wins. I would like to see TJ Watt get his
run over.
Look at that, dude. First team all district.
Listen,
first team all district.
If Pollard goes down and Deuce Vaughn starts getting reps,
line it up.
He's actually going to get killed out there.
Dude, line it up.
Right?
I'm ready. He ain't ready for it. He's going to get injured for the whole season, man. He ain't ready for it.
Deuces, yes.
Says, agreed. Thanks, guys. Hey, man, appreciate you. If you haven't yet, please consider hitting that subscribe button. We are a small channel that's trying to grow. Or if you have more fantasy questions, please consider joining our Discord. The link is in our description down below. We answer questions all day, every day. Literally, we answer every single question. We do get a lot of questions. But we appreciate every single one of them. KJ Fent. Oh, look at this guy. What's up, KJ? Appreciate you coming back. Says, should I try to pick up Keaton Mitchell now to throw into my IR spot? And do you see Mitchell eventually taking over the Ravens backfield? I kind of don't.
Keaton Mitchell? No, I do not, actually.
Even if he does, take majority of reps, which I really don't see happening, this is still going to be a running back by committee. It is. Right. I mean, you've seen Justice Hill out this past game, and that's why Gus Edwards had himself a day. But I mean, it's just going to be an ongoing rotation. And just like Jalen Hurts, you're going to see a lot of those rush attempts taken away by Lamar Jackson getting out there and finding the rush. That's why I'm so mad, because Khalil Herbert has utmost potential, but for some reason, the Bears think they're playing in the NCAA and like, hey, let's run the option every single play. We'll get them this time. And it doesn't happen. Just pass the ball, give it to your running back. That's where they're getting paid. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. Any sense. Giving me 2 points as a running back. Are you kidding me? It's disgusting.
It was really bad.
I mean, you could it would be logical, right? If you had Justin Fields getting 16 plus points, but that's not the case either. It's a mess out there in Chicago. I feel so bad, and I do mean this. I feel so bad for Chicago fans. I don't know how y'all do it, but y'all staying strong, man. I appreciate y'all being fans. Even though some of them are pretty mean.
Oh.
I don't know. I'm not talking about your father. I'm not.
No. He doesn't have a mean bone in his body.
No, he doesn't. Your dad's awesome. Makes great pizza, too. I'm still waiting for mine. But
gave you plenty of pizza, AJ.
Not from the pizza stone. Not from that big old thing that I permanently just hurt my back for.
I don't know what you're talking about. I was holding the thing just as much as you were.
But still on that topic of tight ends, while we're still waiting for some more comments here, Vince, I have Jake Ferguson in my lineup as far as waiver wires. Now, I'm not so high on Jake Ferguson, but I do feel like this guy has a lot of potential. Watching this Dallas game, I was watching it all. It was horrifying to watch, but also pretty cool to watch because they're getting demolished by the Cardinals, right? But it seems like the Dallas Cowboys are just running the ball. And then when it finally comes the last 2 minutes of crunch time, that's when they decide to pass the ball. I just feel like he's so uncomfortable throwing the ball deep, which is why I kind of like Jake Ferguson in the long run, because you could definitely see him getting a lot more targets. He did see 7 targets last week. I think we'll see more. Are you on the same page here with me?
You see, in the beginning of the year, I did like Jake Ferguson. I believe in week 1, I actually did talk about him briefly, just because I thought that his upside was very good. He's a rookie. He's coming into one of uh, the best teams in the NFL, if you want to say like under a microscope. So he had a lot of opportunity to take what's his name who left. I can't even remember his name anymore because he's so
Dalton
irrelevant.
Schultz.
Dalton Schultz. He plays for the Texans now. Yeah, but in my opinion, I think it's going to be a slow rise. He's getting the targets, but it doesn't seem like he's connecting well with Dak Prescott. Not too sure how much is at fault for Ferguson because I mean, if you did watch that game, it wasn't looking too pretty. But I definitely think once they get the ball rolling, Ferguson could possibly be getting a decent amount of points. Maybe I see him from anywhere from 8 to 12 by the end of the season as fantasy perspective. But any higher than that, I don't think so. I think CeeDee Lamb as well as Gallup and Tony Pollard take up too much of those points for the Cowboys. So, but that's just my opinion.
Nice. I think you have a solid point there. I guess, is it time to hit up defenses, or what are we doing here?
Yeah.
I can go ahead and talk about two more of the tight ends, and then I'll be done for today. Honestly, there's not too many tight ends out there, but if you are in a scarce league where you're in a 16-man league, 14-man league, these guys are definitely going to be there for you. So I already talked about Logan Thomas. Just want to talk a little bit about Noah Fant. This is not my biased opinion as a Seahawks fan, but Noah Fant is getting very consistent usage. First week, was a horrible week for the Seahawks. So he didn't get any points, but really he didn't get any passing opportunities because we had a lot of 3-and-outs. But when he played against Detroit and Carolina, he's averaging 9 points. So that's not too much, but for you guys who have people in like Ferguson at this point and you're getting 2 points from a tight end, Noah Fant is a good guy to get because he's seeing consistent passing attempts towards him and he's catching pretty much all of them. So I think Noah Fant is a good guy to maybe stash on your bench for a little while until you feel comfortable playing him. But like I said, he's going to be pretty consistent. And he's only owned in about 7% of leagues. So he's out there. The next guy I want to talk about is nobody is talking about him because there is another guy that is playing that everybody knows about, and that's Kyle Pitts. But Kyle Pitts right now seems to be on the trade block for the Atlanta Falcons because they don't know how to utilize him. So that's very interesting because Johnny Smith has been taking the reins there. He's playing up to 72% of the snaps at the tight end position. So he's going in there blocking. He's going in there as being a pass catcher. And in the past 2 games, he has 14 targets as well as 9 receptions. So he's averaging about 8.7 points on the dot in both games. And he's got a pretty good schedule coming up. So if you need someone, Johnny Smith is owned in 0% of leagues on the Sleeper app. So that is correct. 0% flat. Nobody has him on a roster. So you can't tell me that you don't have any options at tight end because Johnny Smith is there. He's a little far down, but he's there.
Just gotta scroll a bit. All right.
Nice. Very interesting.
We do have a question in the Discord that I'm going to pull up for us.
Ooh-wee.
All right. Let me make it big for you guys, though. All right. So Liam wants to look at his team, and he said he's currently 1-2. You guys need to zoom in, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell us, did it work?
Whoa,
no,
what is going on?
It's not working?
No. Not working today.
Okay.
Here, do you want me to try?
There you go.
Okay.
It makes zero sense on how this works. Oh, no, there it is. Okay, I got to hold it right here. Okay.
Don't move.
I'm not moving.
Okay. So what are we doing?
All right, he wants us to look at his team. So we got Justin Herbert, Keenan Allen, Chris Godwin, Josh Jacobs, Rashawn Johnson, Dalton Kincaid, Tank Dell, Kelly, Zay Flowers, Dotson, and then give me a sec here. Give me a sec. It won't let me grab. It won't let me grab.
It seems like he has a New York Giants running back there, Breida. Yeah.
Breida, he has Saquon on IR right now.
That's good.
Moody and Jacksonville. What do we think, boys?
Okay, and for further talk, he says he is at a 1-2 start, a 14-man league, like you said,
yes.
Reed.
Yeah, I can see
Okay.
that.
Yeah, that is pretty tough. He has Keenan Allen. I think this is the only time you should double dip in a 14-man league, or actually you might be triple dipping here. But Quentin Johnston would be a long-term answer. If you're looking for an immediate answer, that's Joshua Palmer. I think he's going to be out there filling that Mike Williams role, but that's triple dipping. I really don't feel comfortable doing that. But 14-man leagues are really scarce. I just think you just need to address a little bit more. Um, I was gonna say running backs, but you do have Saquon Barkley,
Nick
so I don't feel
Barkley.
as bad. But geez, you just need to get some more depth, man.
I think what I would do at this point in time, I know Keenan Allen is like your top dog on that team, but you need to sell high on him right now. You need to get some depth that's gonna be producing a good amount of points for you. Because right now, if Keenan Allen is just doesn't have a good game, I think you're gonna lose that week because you're very scarce at running back, in my opinion, at this point, even with Saquon Barkley, because you don't know how healthy he's going to be throughout the year. But I don't like his receivers besides Keenan Allen.
All right.
Yeah, like I said, yeah, I think that's pretty good. You go out there, you trade Keenan Allen, and you get a lot of depth for that. Like I said, you sell high on the guy.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Pretty
We
cool.
got a question here by Smitty Darko. I like that name.
Smitty.
It says Diggs and Mostert or K9 and Garrett Wilson. Honestly, right now I kind of like Diggs and Mostert a little bit more. Garrett Wilson is just I don't like the Jets at all. I mean, whatsoever. But Diggs is just a machine. And as of right now, I said as of right now, not the whole season, Mostert's going to be a guy to be consistent points for that fantasy team of yours.
I would agree.
I like it. I agree.
Nice. I'm going to run through some defenses out here. It's very scarce for whatever reason. I guess they decided to have 4 of the worst teams of all time facing against each other this upcoming week, which is kind of like, yo, what are these guys doing, right? Because you have like the Broncos going up against the Bears, and I don't know who else is out there.
It's the Vikings versus no.
Falcons and Jaguars.
Yeah.
And Bengals, Titans, like it's just tough. It's slim pickings right now.
Commanders versus Bears.
Smitty's Darko says, riding with Diggs then. Thanks. Hey, man, no problem. Appreciate you joining us live. I see that you're on Twitch. If you're feeling considerate, find us on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. It helps us out a lot. Or if you're a Twitcher, a Twitch streamer, you must be a gamer. We got a Discord. So join our Discord. It's also in the description down below. And we're very active there. We answer questions all the dang time. Appreciate you being here live on our channel. But defense, who should we stream this week? I got my notes right here. I have to look at my notes this time because, like I said, it is scarce. And I want to see y'all's reaction because I'm giving y'all 3 because there's not a lot available.
Let's hear it.
Bengals at Titans. I'm going Bengals. Okay. Raiders at Chargers. I'm going Chargers. Seahawks at Giants. I'm going Seahawks. Ooh. What do y'all think? I knew Vince was going to kind of like that one or put me in my place to be like, nah, dude, you can't. But like I said, man, it's pickings this week. What do y'all think about those 3 options? They should be available in at least 50% of leagues.
I think they're all viable options.
It's tough out there.
Yeah,
I think the best one. I think the best one is the Seahawks versus the Giants.
You think so? What if Saquon's back?
I'm joking. I definitely think it's a viable option because our defensive line has finally been getting a lot of pressures. So that might make what's his face, Daniel Jones, throw a few interceptions. And we have Jamal Adams coming back, so there could be some packages where we send him on a blitz. Hopefully he can get some more sacks like he did 2 years ago. But I'm a little scared if Saquon Barkley comes back because I still don't think we are the best against the run. And I think if Saquon Barkley is healthy, he could do some damage. But we've been holding teams to a decent amount of points, and we've been making a lot of turnovers. So I think it's a good option.
On that note, look out for that injury because if he is out, Matt Breida's still out there, and he was able to get was it 9 or 10 points against the Niners, so he should be a decent option to stream for one more week if Saquon Barkley is out for this upcoming week. Like I said, not a lot of options out there.
Let's see.
Gabriel Acevedo says, if it's okay, I want
100%
to
okay.
100%.
Yes.
It's okay. Talk to us, man. It's all right. I want to delve a little more about Jordan Love. I have 5 running backs: McCaffrey, Kyron Williams, Josh Jacobs, Jerome Ford. My goodness. And I said
Good job.
earlier, I am sure I can get a chain or a Chan. Sorry.
Come on, AJ. You're so rude.
Sorry, I'm very rude. I'm just like that. But paranoid about running backs because RBs are at a premium. Honestly, they are. We thought it was going to be the other way around coming into the system, but the season, but it's just been a horrible, horrible season for running backs. Are 4 running backs enough if I drop Jerome for Love? I don't think you should drop Jerome for Love. I wouldn't do that. If anything, Jerome is super valuable right now. I mean, super valuable. People in the naked eye, when I say naked eye, I'm talking about people who are not really into football, people who don't, get into the grind of football. They're thinking, man, this is the next Nick Chubb out here. I want this guy, right? That has a lot of trade value attached to him. So maybe definitely you can get yourself a decent enough quarterback for Jerome Ford. Not saying Jordan Love is not decent enough, because Jordan Love is great, but I just wouldn't drop Jerome Ford. What do y'all think here?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people would love to get their hands on Jerome Ford. I think you potentially package him with somebody else, get somebody hired to improve your team. I think you're trying to get a backup quarterback when you already have Jalen Hurts. I think having Jordan Love on your bench is always good, but I don't think you should. If you have a guy like Jerome Ford, I don't think that's the person you should drop for Love. I would love to know more about your bench. What your whole roster, has he given us that? I know he's asked a few questions.
Just his running backs. Give us his running backs.
Okay, I would love to see your whole roster just to see if there is somebody else that is better to drop than Jerome Ford. As I said, there's a lot of people in your league that would probably love to get him on their team.
Mm-hmm. Especially if they're desperate like me for running backs, because like you said, it is a very scarce league for running backs. So you're going to have a lot of AJs out there who are trading Michael Thomas for Rashad White. So they'll definitely love that. So go out there, check it out. Rave, where would you rank K9 and running backs are in? Vince, this is a question for you, my man.
He's at number 9, my guy. He's top 10.
Ooh, dang. Vince said that confidently. He's like, dude, wait, that's top 10, bro.
Who's K9?
That is Kenneth Walker.
Why 9?
That's his number, Reed.
He's number 9?
Oh, jeez. Okay.
I've never seen. I thought he was like something else. I don't know.
Hey, let's schedule a team's meeting after this podcast. We need to have a roundup here.
I don't watch Seahawks games.
You should, Reed.
No, you probably shouldn't, Reed. But I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. But I hate hearing that little hawk sound. But honestly, this dude is a freak of nature. We're very skeptical about him coming into the season because of Zach Charbonnet, how he got drafted, which honestly, this guy is just amazing. He is great. We'll see you, Reed. Thank you so much. He had to go back to work, unfortunately. We're gonna have a talk about that. We're gonna write him up because this is his real job. But yeah, he is top 10 right now, and that's why a lot of people are picking up Zach Charbonnet. Not because they think he's gonna overtake the position, but because if anything happens to K9 or Kenneth Walker, that's gonna be a dog right there, a freaking dog.
I don't know if you saw it, but I'm pretty sure he was on angry runs if they still run that thing, because he had a humongous hit on someone. It was one of his only good runs this past game for Charbonnet. But yeah, I think the Seahawks are in good hands. Hopefully K9, Kenneth Walker III, doesn't get injured anytime this year, because we would love to have him as our starter the entire year. But I definitely think Charbonnet will eat into his production here and there, just to give him a rest every now and then.
Very true, very true. Hopefully he sits out a few games against the Niners. But Braves fan 527, who is on Twitch, thank you for joining us live on
Ooh.
Twitch, man. Appreciate it. Says, who should I start? Zay Flowers versus the Browns, Christian Kirk versus the Falcons, or Josh Reynolds versus the Packers? I think we all know Vince's choice here. Vince, you have a lot of great things to say about this individual, so I'll let you take it away once again.
Are you talking about Christian Kirk?
I am talking about Christian
Okay,
Kirk.
okay. So I like Christian Kirk in this aspect right now, just because Zay Flowers, I think he's coming back from an injury, but I'm not 100% sure. But I know if he is not, he did not put up any numbers in this past week during the Ravens game. And Josh Reynolds had a stinker triple goose eggs right in this past game, so I don't think he'll bounce back against the Packers. But Christian Kirk versus the Falcons, I think should be a good one. Right now, he's had 20 plus points in the past 2 outings, minus that week 1 game where he was irrelevant because of Calvin Ridley. But I think Christian Kirk could keep it going. I don't know about how long, but until he proves to me that he can't keep getting this type of production, I think Christian Kirk is a certified start. Uh, but yeah, I think the Falcons would be a good game for him because Falcons backfield is not the best, but it's not the worst. So I think Calvin Ridley will get a little bit swallowed up, and Christian Kirk will be wide open.
Although I do agree with you, Vince, about Christian Kirk, I am going to shine a little bit of light for Braves fan 527 here about Zay Flowers. Zay
Good.
Flowers, I mean, he, in my eyes, in my not so pro vision, I think he is already the wide receiver 1 for that offense, right? You've seen OBJ, he goes out with an injury. I don't know what his status is for certain this upcoming week. So if he misses, Zay Flowers is a good option to have as well if you want to consider him maybe as your flex position. But this guy, I do believe, is a wide receiver 1. You saw him last week get 10 targets, and it's not just a fluke, not just because OBJ was out. He got 10 targets week 1 as well. And this guy's putting up some points. So I like him a lot. I know a lot of people are like, hey, stay on the lookout for Rashad Bateman. I think his time is up. It's over. But Zay Flowers is not a bad option as well. I think you're in a good position there to choose between Christian Kirk and Zay Flowers. Josh Reynolds, he's going to come back down to earth sooner or later. We're just waiting for that to happen. But
Serious, sir.
That's awesome, man. I don't know. Gabriel says he wants to give us his roster. He said, please hold on. So we might just hold on for you, Gabriel Acevedo. Oh, look at that. He
He's
says,
right on cue.
right on cue, man. He says, Jalen Hurts, Keenan Allen, Christian McCaffrey, Puka Tutu. Why am I keep saying that name together? Puka Tutu, Nico, Puka Tutu, Nico, Calvin Ridley,
Dang.
Jacoby Myers, AJ Brown, Williams again. Oh, Kyron Williams, Jerome Ford, Josh Jacobs, Evan Ingram, trading Nico for a Chon and shooting for Laporta by dropping Henry. Are you dropping?
Yeah, Hunter.
Hunter Henry. That's right. Sorry, I'm blanking out because we talked about pressing the panic button for Derrick Henry earlier.
Derek.
But yeah, Laporta's gonna be a great for you. But trading Nico for Achan, so someone already has him out there, huh? I think that would be good for you. Achan should be a liable option late in the season. But like I said, going back to your other question here, I don't think you should drop Jerome Ford. I think he has too much value for you not to get anything out of him. If I were you, I'll at least try to get something. Go out there, go get a QB, right? If you still can't get a QB that you like more than Love, then just drop him. But it doesn't sit right with me if you're just dropping Jerome Ford. It's like free money. Braves fan 527 says Hunter Henry or Pat Freiermuth this week. Ooh, Vincent, our tight end guy. What do you think?
That's a hard one because Hunter Henry had a bit of a stinker this past week, and he's
Yeah.
going up against Dallas in this next outing. And I was wrong last week at saying that Zach Ertz would be good against the Cowboys because I thought maybe that he was going to keep up his production, but he didn't. So obviously Michael Parsons, as well as those other linebackers like Van Der Esch who play there against the tight ends, and some of their safeties that they bring down too, are pretty good against covering tight ends. So I think that automatically for me dunks Hunter Henry under Pat Freiermuth. But again, I really don't like Freiermuth's production at this point in time. since I don't know if Brayson was here when I was talking about some tight ends, but in my opinion, I would most likely hold on to Hunter Henry because he still has some upside after this week. But I think I would drop Pat Freiermuth for some of the guys that I was talking about earlier that 100% should be there for you. And that's guys like Logan Thomas, Noah Fant, Jonnu Smith, who are all averaging about 8 to 9 points a game. They're just very consistent. But honestly, I think you can upgrade at the tight end position, even if you are in a big league, because a lot of these guys are still out there.
Very well said. As we talked about earlier, go see if Sam Laporta is still available in your league. If he is, that's insane. Go get him. Brandon Rogers says, "What's the deal with Madison? I know when I showed Reed my team, he said I have a good team besides him, but I don't know who to try to go out and get to reach." Well, Madison, slowly he's going to be losing his job. He's not losing his job, but splitting his position out there as the RB1. He did have a good week, but let's not all get fooled here. We still have a struggling Vikings offense. Who you should go out and get just depends. Are you looking for a running back? Are you looking for a wide receiver to replace him? Are you looking for a tight end? I think Madison still holds a lot of value, especially coming out of this week. He has a pretty good price tag on him. As was said earlier, this is a running back scarce league. So if you're going out there, put him on the trade block. See what is given to you. Put him on the chat, right? Like, hey, who wants Madison? Shoot me an offer. And don't get lowballed. Get someone out there who has a lot of upside potential. Get some injured players like Jonathan Taylor. Say, hey, I'm going to take that risk, right? Let me get Jonathan Taylor. Get Cooper Kupp. Hey, I'm going to take that risk. Brandon Ayuk is out there who you could buy very low on right now. Some guys that I have on buy low options is Aaron Jones out for 2 weeks, Sam Laporta, tight end, Chris Olave. People are not really paying too much attention to Chris. I mean, that's some guy that you could go out there and get. He's still the wide receiver 1. And people are like, oh, without Derek Carr, he might not have so much value on him. So those are some guys that you could go out there and reach realistically. Yeah.
I mean, I still like Madison. So if I were you, Brandon, I would hold on to him. He still has some upside. I think he should have the next good few games, and then possibly you could trade him away after a few more consistent games, and you could get someone really high, like how AJ was talking about right now. So, yeah,
for sure. Brandon says, with them being in the Texans division, you better get ready to drop Trevor Lawrence. Oh man, I do feel like he will bounce back, but he is going to struggle. He needs to find a rhythm going on with that team. Very talented roster. You gotta unlock that potential. Rave says, in the past years, was the tight end position always so bad? It's been bad, but nothing like this year. This year has been something else, has been a true challenge for people like us who try to give fantasy advice and like, hey, go pick up some tight ends. Because before, Vince always found a way to have like 7 guys for tight ends for whatever reason. So yeah, it is very tough this year. And the past seasons is just no one was flashy, right? But you could get guys who consistently gave you 6 to 10 points. And now that's even hard to do. Braves fan 527 says, should I pick up Luke Musgrave? Vince, I know you're the tight end guy, but can I take this one? So yes, I got this on my fantasy notes. Braves fan, if you don't know, every week I give out a waiver wire cheat sheet. So if you'd like to join our Discord, the link is in our description on our YouTube. So find us on YouTube. Sorry if you're moving back and forth, but Luke Musgrave is on there. And right now, since they do have a banked up wide receiver core, I'm talking about Christian Watson, who's projected to come back this week. You see him getting very involved as far as targets. He had 8 targets this past week. And I do feel like as time goes on, we should see this guy have more and more involvement in the passing game. He's a very liable option for Jordan Love. I mean, he's a rookie and he's showing so much talent so far. So it's a good guy to have. Don't expect immediate success, but he is one of the better tight ends that's available. Draco Juice. Damn, look at that. Look at that profile pic.
I like the it's like a Fortnite thing.
It says 12-man PPR. Do I move DJ Moore for Jerome Ford? Ooh, wow. Nice. Okay. Personally, I think I would, because right now Jerome Ford still has the potential to go out there and score touchdowns. His productivity isn't that great. I do feel like he's going to lose more and more each week, but right now he still has some value out there. And the Chicago Bears is just a hot mess. And if you want to start him, this just might be the week because the Bears are going up against the Broncos, who have probably the worst defense in the NFL.
Yeah.
So, Vince, what would you get out of this one?
So I see his other comment down here. He says he has Ashawn, Damian Pierce, and Breida. I know Damian Pierce had a little bit of a better game than usual, but I still am not 100% sold on him. So I would probably keep him on your bench for a little while. With that said, I mean, you have Breida, who could possibly have a good turnout if Saquon Barkley doesn't play against the Seahawks on Monday. But in my opinion, I really like the way that Jerome Ford was used. I just think he was going against a very, very tough Tennessee D line.
Yeah.
So I think in this next game, he should definitely have more output. So I think I am going to agree with AJ here, even though DJ Moore plays against the stinky Denver defense. I just don't think they're still using DJ Moore as he would want to. Only getting I think he's averaging 6 targets a game, which is,
It's
I mean,
ugly. It's ugly.
you should be giving him at least 10, let him work with that and see how much production he can get. But I think Jerome Ford here is the better option. I think it's a safer option for sure.
Nice. We got a question here. A personal question from Brandon says, how long have y'all done fantasy? I believe we've done fantasy for 8 years now? This is our 8th?
I think, I don't know. Has it been 8 years?
I want to say because the longest fantasy league I just left this past year, and it said 7 seasons in, and this was going to be my 8th season. And I remember after the first season, Vince went on DraftKings and joined 11 leagues, and he was just insane. But yeah, we've been doing this for, I don't know, may seem like a long while, may seem like a short while, but we love it. That's why we're so invested into it. He is on track on becoming the wide receiver 1 for fantasy football.
I think he already is at this point in time. I think he just surpassed Tyreek Hill after this past week. But
okay, I was about to say, this guy's a stud, and now with Mike Williams out, unfortunately, he's going to see a slight, I would say a very slight increase, right? Because you still got Joshua Palmer, who is great, and you still have Quentin Johnston, who is also great, and hopefully we'll see his potential out there. Brandon says, I've been getting on the binge watch of the 2012 Texans and the 2012 season. Dude, hey, take this from a fan, right? The Niners, you can't live in the past, man. You can't. It's hard. But you should look now. Texans look good.
Yeah, I like the way their future is looking for sure.
Hell yeah. And that's because they're built for tomorrow. And what I mean by that, I mean this is not supposed to be their year. Their year is supposed to be in 2 years from now. They're just going to get better and better, and they're looking great in that division. So good for you, Brandon. Hey, stay focused now. Be happy. Oh, okay. Should I start Pacheco this week, even though it's against the Jets? The Jets are playing with a chip on their shoulder. I still don't think that's enough. Starting Pacheco, you do see everyone getting fed in that backfield, but Pacheco is that main guy. And it just depends who else you have on your roster. For me, if I got Pacheco on my team, I'm definitely starting him at least on a flex. That's just me, though. I think Pacheco is a must-start guy.
Yeah, I have him in one of my leagues, and that's exactly what I did. I saw that he was going against Chicago, and I knew that he would get some usage because the Kansas City Chiefs were going to be up by a lot of points. He got 15 this past week, and he goes against the New York Jets, who are also maybe a little bit better than the Chicago Bears on the defensive line, stuff like that. So I definitely think Pacheco should be getting a good turnout this week. But yeah, I don't think anything higher than the flex.
Yeah. Cool. Brandon Ross says, used to do that. Watch the old 49ers. I just want, yeah, dude, because I'm not, I'm only 25 years old. So I grew up with the Alex Smith and Frank Gore era. I had no idea about Jerry Rice, Joe Montana, about Young. I had to do my research. I go out there, learn the history, learn the culture. That's very important about being a fan. It's learning the culture of the team that you adore because, hey, man, that's what it's all being about, right? It's not just like, oh yeah, I know this guy. You got to know the history. Just have a greater appreciation for that team. We just love football so much. I don't know. It sounds crazy to some people. Ray says Titans got their good 4 years. It's time to start over.
I think the Titans had their good 4 years. Yeah.
I think they're ready starting over. It's just that they need to commit to the quarterback position. And I said this last year after the season or towards the end of the season, trade Derrick Henry, trade him, get something out of him. Now, like he does not look that great, right? He's older and he looks banged up and he's splitting the backfield with Spears. Spears getting more reps than him. And then also Tannehill, dude, cut him loose. You have a young team out there. You should have gone D-Hop. You should have kept Derrick Henry. You should have kept Ryan Tannehill. It's you got to realize that, hey, man, you're hitting that restart button. Sorry, not sorry, but that's just how the NFL works. Every team has done it. You just can't hold on to young and veteran players. That's just me.
Yeah. I definitely think their biggest need to get rid of is definitely Tannehill. I think he really does hold them back on the capabilities that they could have with a better, younger, more active quarterback.
Brandon says, did Will Levis actually get traded? No, he's not traded. We would have heard something already. I know we've been live for over an hour, almost 2 hours, but no, he did not get traded. So I think that's a whole bunch of cap. He won't get traded. He's the future out there on that team. Brandon says, if anything, I'd be happy to see them win a ring on any team. He deserves it for carrying us for so long. Yeah. And unfortunately, I mean, it doesn't seem that way, right? He's already at that age where those running backs are their downfall. He hit his peak and he was supposed to get traded. I mean, this was the year that he was supposed to get traded to, someone like the Kansas City Chiefs, someone like I hate to say the Dallas Cowboys, the Eagles, just this was the year. Freaking Bills, that would have been awesome.
Oh, I know, right?
Braves fan says the only running backs are James Cook and Pacheco. Then my two wide receivers are Chase and Devontae Smith. Then my flex is Christian Kirk. Yeah, I mean, I still definitely start Pacheco. I think James Cook's in the same scenario. He's seeing 60% of that backfield, which is the majority of it. But I don't know. What do you think, Vince? You still like Pacheco over James Cook?
I'm not 100% sure. Who are the Bills playing against? So let me look at that first.
I have the matchups right here. The Bills are going up against the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah.
That's a tough one. That's a tough one because I think James Cook has a lot of upside, especially in the passing game. And Pacheco is not really used in the passing game all too much. That's a really tough one for me, honestly, in my opinion. But I still think I would give the upside to Pacheco just because his matchup is a lot easier. But James Cook is really right there for me to start. So I don't know if he meant that those are the only guys on his bench or if those are the only guys that he has starting. But yeah, some good bench players if those are your bench guys.
For sure. Then we have Ray who says, I think it was rebuild up until D-Hop rumors came out. That's what everyone thought. It says, then there was belief that they could roll with Henry and Tannehill one more time. Hey, man. You can't really enjoy cereal with a fork, right? Eventually it's going to get soggy and you can't get the most out of it. And that's basically what they're doing. They got some good cereal out there and they're eating it with a fork. You can't do that with Ryan Tannehill. Unfortunately, and the offensive line, you can't get one of the best receivers in the game and just not address your offensive line. That's just not how it works out here. Since he only has them starting.
Oh, okay.
Okay, then not bad.
That's a good lineup then. I like it.
Brandon says, I hated how the draft day they made Will Levis think he was going to be the number one pick, but I knew it was it was unfortunate. We saw now his ex-girlfriend react to that. That was funny. So she is available out there, guys. You single guys out there, go hit her up. Gabriel says, notice that some teams keep 1D, some keep 2. I'm actually swapping Ds for Ds week offense every week. The waiver wire world is my roster. Do you guys employ this strategy? Thoughts? Hey, man, that's me. I'm a big streamer. Not only here for fantasy football, but I stream defenses every single week just to get the best possible matchup. I'm not one to draft the defense high, so I'm not getting the 49ers defense. I'm not getting the Eagles defense or the Cowboys defense. I'm getting the best possible matchup. This week is a bit tough, but I switch out my defense every single week, so you're not the only one. We swap Ds together. Ray says, should I trade Devontae Smith since he is the wide receiver too? Even though he's a wide receiver too, he does see a lot of targets. So I think Vince says no, right? That's what you're doing.
It's a big fat no, my guy. I said in the beginning of the season, Devontae Smith is going to be the best wide receiver 2 in the league.
He did say that. I mean, unless you get him for very selling very high, then yeah, why not? Go for it. Always try to make your team better. That's what we said last year. Always make your team better. Hit up those waivers, hit up those trades, try to get a sucker. Even if you're just bugging the crap out of your league mates, you keep on doing it until someone says yes. I mean, trust me. I live by it. That's what I do. You could ask these guys. I live by it. But that's been a pretty good podcast. Vince, you got anything else?
I do not, my guy. I do not. I feel like every guy that I had to pick up, like for fantasy wise, I feel like we talked about. There's just a few guys that I really want to talk about that you should not pick up at all, and that's Jerick McKinnon as the running back position. If you are one of those guys, like sadly how AJ is in this predicament right now, you need to pick up some some running backs, and the waiver wire is looking kind of scarce. Don't get Jerick McKinnon. I know he got 17 points this past week, but his usage is like horrendous. I think he's getting less than 30% of the carry share there. It's not looking good. So this was a outlier game, in my opinion. Jerick McKinnon is going to go back to his regular 5 points or less for fantasy purposes. So yeah.
Very nice. Braves fan says, should I start the Chiefs defense this week? That should be in the top of your waiver priority because defenses are very scarce right now. And yes, I actually have them on my waiver wire. So if the Chiefs defense is available, go out there. They're going against the Jets. Zach Wilson is a hot mess. 100%.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But yeah,
Well,
man.
cool.
Other than that, I mean, we talked about everybody.
Yes, we did. Appreciate every single one of you guys. Like I said, if you guys haven't yet, please hit that subscribe button. If you are watching on Twitch, try to find us on YouTube. It'll give us a huge favor, man. Hit that subscribe button and also find us on Discord. I know Twitch guys, you guys like to game out there. I do as well. That's why we're live on Twitch. We have a Discord. Join our Discord and ask us any fantasy question. We answer every single one of them, and we go live every single week. And we may be going live this Saturday. So if you guys haven't yet, hit up that notification bell. Let's talk about them Seahawks. Brandon. That's the last thing I want.
No, we won't do that. There's not too much to talk about the Seahawks. We're just scraping by at this point in time. So hoping to get a few more wins. Hopefully we can make the playoffs.
Yes, sir. Like I said, appreciate every single one of you guys. If you guys haven't yet, join our Discord. And until next time, keep on grinding.